Time for another edition of the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. With you as always, Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, Soren Petro. We are talking quarterbacks. We're going to rank them 1 to 32, and we're going to put them into our tiers. Part of our rankings week. We're going to do quarterbacks this week. We're going to do later in the week, we'll do the head coaches, put them, same thing, 6 different tiers, ranking them 1 to 32. Where does Pat Mahomes fit in this whole equation? Who's rising up? Who's falling? We're doing it right now on the Red, Gold, and Bold.
You are listening to the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast, the most in-depth analysis of the Kansas City Chiefs on planet Earth, breaking down the Chiefs like no one else can. Red, Gold, and Bold is hosted by Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro. Jeff Chadiha is a senior columnist and on-air personality for the NFL Network and NFL.com. Sam McDowell is a columnist for the Kansas City Star. Soren Petro is the afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. The Red, Gold, and Bold podcast is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Now, here are the hosts of the Best Chiefs podcast, Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro.
Thank you very much, Curtis. We do appreciate it. Off and running here on the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. We're breaking down the quarterbacks, gentlemen. First of all, happy 4th of July. Hopefully everyone has safe and happy 4th of July weekend and enjoyed celebrating 250 years of America right there for you. So hopefully everyone came away with all their digits. We'll send that out first. Guys, we always like to go through what we learned from the process. Jeff? Grinding through the quarterbacks. What'd you take away from putting this together?
I felt like it was a lot harder this year. And I think there was a lot of players who were in similar positions, hard to differentiate, a lot of jumping around for some people. Some guys moved way up, some guys moved down more. And so I thought it was a little harder to figure out exactly who fit into where. I got there, but it just seemed like it was a grind.
Yeah. Sam?
Yeah, I think about half the league is going into the season with problems at quarterback. And I don't know whether, I didn't go back year to year and compare that, but that number seemed really high to where I was sort of thinking, man, I got to rank this guy 19th. I got to rank this guy 20th. And, I felt like I had 12 players I wanted to stuff into the bottom, like 6 guys of the rankings of the league.
Interesting. Because I had, I think 18 in the first 3 tiers that I felt like, okay, these are pretty solid. I think my tier 4 is going to get ripped up by you fellas. Tier 5.
That's his way of already.
It's prefacing.
Yeah. He's already saying, don't come at me for tier 4. I've already said it's not very good.
Well, I look at it in the 19 and 23, which are the top and bottom in tier 4. I'm like, there's kind of a wide difference, but I'll give my reasons. on what I think. But I did think it was very difficult. I will say that. I thought it was difficult and a bit of a grind. It is amazing how many players I think, though, are at least quality. I mean, I had 18 through tier 3. To me, is where you feel good about what you got. Tier 4 on. Tier 4's questions. Tier 5's, it's like a lot of youth in tier 5 and a lot of like, okay, this clearly isn't our guy. And then I've only got 1 in tier 6. So, drum roll on where that might go when it's all said and done here. Let's get things started. Jeff, do you want to lead us off? Who do you got in your tier 1?
Sure. Tier 1, I have 5 quarterbacks, and I always try to explain why my criteria for this. So these are players who can carry a franchise, win an MVP, win a championship. 4 of these guys, 4 have won MVPs, and two have won Super Bowls. So I got Patrick Mahomes number 1. I got Josh Allen number 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Matthew Stafford 4, and Joe Burrow 5.
Lamar 3, and Matthew Stafford 4, and Joe Burrow 5. So Joe Burrow still makes the tier 1.
Hey, man, look, that was the tough one because of his injury history. That's really the only reason for me to keep him out of tier 1, because obviously 2 of the last 3 years he has not played a full season, but the full season he did play in 24, 43 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions, 70% completion percentage. Like, that's pretty impressive and could have had some legitimate argument to be in the MVP conversation. So when he's good, he's great. And he's also taken that team to the Super Bowl and made them a contender a few years ago when the Chiefs were riding high. And so a lot of that's because of who Joe Burrow is. So I still think he's that player.
All right. Sam, how many you got?
I have 4.
Okay.
And it's in the same order that Jeff has. I just knocked Joe Burrow down to tier 2 because he hasn't been available. And Jeff's right. It was a terrific year ago. I do think his numbers are inflated from 2 years ago because the Bengals, it was like Patrick Mahomes in 2018. Yeah. They gave up so many points that he was passing frequently from behind. But yeah, I still have Mahomes 1. I've got Josh Allen 2. Lamar Jackson 3, and Matthew Stafford 4. And to give my overall criteria here, I basically ranked these guys as I don't know the rest of my roster. I don't know my coach. Just which quarter, if I'm starting my team with the quarterback, and which guy do I want to have if that's the case.
So does that mean that Matt Stafford's at number 4 because of age? Yeah,
but also, I mean, let's face it, the Rams have a really good situation for quarterbacks. And, I mean, they have a good running game. They have good weapons. They have Sean McVay calling the plays. Like that's a quarterback-friendly environment. And I think that Josh Allen was in a quarterback-friendly environment this last year as well. And, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been trying to say, hey, the playoff stuff is not really Josh Allen's fault. Like when you look at his playoff numbers, overall, they're still really good. He's got 4,000 yards in like 15 games. He also has 800 rushing yards in 15 games. Like he's been really good. Except his last 2 performances, like the reason the Bills haven't made the Super Bowl to me is on Josh Allen. I mean, his performance against the Broncos was really bad late in that game. He makes the turnover before halftime in that game. And you guys know I didn't think he was good at all at Arrowhead the year before in the AFC Championship game where he throws basically 3 passes that should have been picked. He fumbles 3 times in that game. And so I certainly thought that 2 through 4 were very bunched up in a way that last year I thought they had pretty clear separation.
Well, that's it. I think Mahomes fell too, didn't he? Because you had him in like his own tier. Was it last year or a year before that?
Years ago, I think I had him in his own tier. I think last year I just had Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar Jackson.
That is correct. Just for the record, last year Jeff had Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and Burrow. Sam had Mahomes, Allen, Jackson. I had Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, and Burrow. That didn't age well. So this year,
and you picked to re-air that episode last week.
People in Philly will love you.
We don't run from our mistakes. We're always honest. We're on the record. We don't sugarcoat it. When we make mistakes, we fess up to it. I made a mistake. Jalen Hurts is not in tier 1 for me this year. In fact, I went the other direction from you guys. I've only got 2 guys in tier 1. It's Patrick Mahomes and it's Josh Allen. If I was going to have a third one, it would be Matt Stafford. I thought long and hard about putting him in there, but I used a little bit more of the Sam McDowell criteria of like, who would I want, and kind of not necessarily starting a franchise, but the age of Matt Stafford and the injury potential. The fact that, listen, going into last year, we weren't sure that the guy was even going to play. So that to me is a question. When he plays and is healthy, he's as good as anybody, right? He doesn't have the escapability that some of the other guys do. And we'll see if Patrick Mahomes, we know we've talked endlessly about the fact that it's going to be a different era for Patrick Mahomes. And I think this may look real different next year with Pat coming off a knee injury, right? Like we're giving him credit for being healthy Patrick Mahomes, but I know, Sam likes to project out like he's much more aggressive on this young quarterback or this young coach. I'm going to put him up here because this is what I think they're going to be. So I'll take a swing on that guy. If we're to project ahead, there's a distinct possibility of projecting a lesser Patrick Mahomes. And so this is the last time that there may not be 5 or 6 or 7 guys around Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes might not even be in tier 1 if that knee isn't healthy and he can't do the things he's done and if he doesn't adjust as a quarterback. But for me, there are 2 guys that to this point in their career will just pick you up and carry you. And even if the offensive line is falling apart, even if the receivers are falling apart, whether it's Mahomes' ability to escape and buy time and then throw the ball or scoot for first downs or just Josh Allen's bulldozer rushing, they're the 2 guys. Lamar Jackson's the other guy, and I've had him in this category. But last year, not making the playoffs, and I know Patrick Mahomes didn't make the playoffs, but he's got 5 conference championships and 3 Super Bowls, is why he doesn't get dinged as hard as I dinged Lamar Jackson for not being a playoff team. But to me, there's 2 guys that can literally, by themselves, pick up a team and carry them. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I don't think there's anybody else that you can truly say that about.
That's fair. I'll give you that. Man, one thing I'll say about Allen, too, that we never talk about, anybody never talks about, is just how durable he is. Like, he's played 3. He's the only guy on this list, on my list, who's played every game the last 3 years, and I think he's only missed like 3 games in his career.
Yeah,
which is the way he plays to be that durable is amazing.
Yeah,
and so I agree with you on that one for sure.
He's had Ben Roethlisberger durability with some Derrick Henry rushing into it. Like I do think that we're going to look back years from now and be like, what the hell was that guy? Like, I mean, I think we've become numb to it because watching him bulldoze through 3 tacklers for a first down is just like, well, that's what he does. No one else does what he does. He is an amazing football player. There's no doubt about it. I'm sorry, Sam, I cut you off.
No, I mean, I don't mind the criteria at all because look, we all had those guys ranked at the top. I do think you can make the argument that Lamar's in that same category. I mean, Lamar is known for his rushing, yet he has the highest passer rating in NFL history. He's got the most adjusted yards per attempt in NFL history. And it was just 2 years ago that he should have won MVP 2 years ago over Josh Allen. I mean, he threw 41 touchdowns and had 4 interceptions and had like 119 passer rating. And I don't want to be the guy that also always quotes passer rating, but when you're at 119, that's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think Lamar has certainly carried his team, but I mean, he's got 3 playoff wins. And as much as I think all 3 of us are in agreement that the quarterback's not the guy who's solely responsible for the wins, this is a team game. He's the most important piece. And 3 playoff wins does stand out for a guy like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it does. It is a part of the equation for the quarterback position, maybe only the quarterback position. It is a part of the equation, the wins and losses. They put it next to quarterbacks on Pro Football Reference. They don't put it next to any other position. So it is a part of the equation. Not that they're the end all be all, but it's more of an equation for them, more a part of the equation for them than any other position. All right, we've got tiers 2 through 6 still to come after you hear from our friends at GAN. Your parking lot says a lot about your business. Cracks, potholes, faded striping, and damaged concrete can create safety concerns and leave the wrong impression with customers. GAN Asphalt and Concrete helps Kansas City businesses protect their properties with asphalt paving, seal coating, crack filling, parking lot striping, concrete work, and repairs. Their experienced crews deliver quality workmanship and dependable service on every project. Whether you need routine maintenance or a complete parking lot overhaul, GAN is ready to help you. Get started today with a free estimate at GANAsphalt.com. GAN Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lots. Italian Delight was the first restaurant to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They sell whole pies or pizza by the slice, or enjoy their classic strombolis, calzones, and sausage rolls. Sandwich lovers, check out their lineup of hot and cold subs, the combo, the meatball, or the Philly cheesesteak, just to name a few. And don't forget the pasta. Their famous lasagna and classic chicken Alfredo always hit the spot. If you're hungry for lunch, check out their daily lunch specials, starting at under $10. Italian Delight can even cater your next work function or party. Dine in, carry out, or delivery, it's Italian Delight. Located just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway at 8145 State Ave in KCK. Check out the menu and order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. Kansas City's own Italian Delight. Sign me up for a slice of the combo, by the way, right now, from Italian Delight. Let's get to tier number 2 of the quarterbacks. You had 5 in the first tier. How many you got in the second tier, Jeff?
This is my big tier, 8 quarterbacks total. Yeah. Well,
okay. 13 first or second tier quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, give out the name Soren left off his tier 1. He's gonna have a pretty big tier 2, I imagine, as well. But these are the players who I think can win a championship with help. They've got Pro Bowl ability, All Pro ability. And so, and only two guys on this category for me have not reached at least a championship game. And so I've got 6, Justin Herbert. I've got 7, Drake May. I've got 8, Jalen Hurts. 9, Dak Prescott. 10, Jared Goff. 11, Brock Purdy. 12, Jalen Daniels. And 13, Sam Darnold.
All right. So help me out again. Herbert.
Herbert.
And then
May. Drake May.
Drake May. Oh, Drake May's high. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Jalen Hurts.
Is he?
He was second MVP voting.
Yeah.
You've got Drake May. You've got Drake May. What, 7th? That's high.
It's a little. I think it's pretty high. Okay. I think it's pretty high.
He had Justin Hurts, Jalen Hurts at 3 last year. So keep in mind who's talking about this stuff.
Wow. What does a guy have to do? Throws himself.
I guess you're
at the mercy
overcorrecting for Jalen Hurts last year.
Throws himself at the mercy of the court, and the court just beats the hell out of him. Holy cow! Yeah. All right. After Hurts was who?
Dak.
Okay.
Goff. Purdy. Daniels. And Darnold. And just a caveat here, the last 2 were tough for me. I'm a big Jaden Daniels fan, but obviously he did not do a whole lot last year because of injury. And then Darnold, I'm giving him a big bump because of the championship, but he did not play that great in the second half of the season. But I can't knock him for what he's become. And I think that you win a championship, you deserve to be in at least tier 2.
So what number is he overall for you?
13.
He's got a few guys that are just like 3 spots higher than I think I have him, and therefore a couple lower. But Jeff and I are more in line than I think Soren is going to be. I thought that I was. I will say that I thought I was going to be the high guy on Justin Herbert. So I'm glad that I'm not the guy that has to have that conversation.
Yeah. And I'm giving him a ton of credit because he lost both tackles last year.
Yeah.
A ton of offensive line issues. He got the crap beat out of him, and that team still went to the playoffs. I have to
lost.
And lost. But he got them there. Yeah.
Pressured on 44% of his snaps last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And you compare it to what CJ Stroud went through or Drake May, how they looked when they were facing a similar kind of pressure. Like Justin Herbert gets my respect.
Well, Drake May was the best quarterback in the NFL when under pressure last year.
At the playoffs, was he?
No, but
Drake May was the best quarterback in the NFL. Is that what I just heard?
I went under pressure last year, yeah, by a lot too.
Okay. You're talking statistically. I thought you were just saying he was the best. Period. Listen.
An EPA per dropback. He lapped the field when under pressure last year, and his completion percentage was insane.
What was the postseason numbers for that, or did it break down for that?
I could look him up. It would take me a minute. If we want
he was awful in the postseason.
If we want to wait till the next commercial break, I can look it up though.
No. I will fast forward. He was awful in the postseason. That's.
Well, no, he wasn't good in the postseason, but I think Jeff was asking about the actual data. I had quoted.
Yeah. All right, Sam. So what is your tier 2?
I go 5 through 9 on this. I've got Joe Burrow 5th. So Jeff and I have the same top 5. I reversed 6 and 7 on his list. I've got Drake May 6th. I've got Justin Herbert 7th. A guy that I don't think Jeff mentioned on his list, which I'm interested in. I've got Jordan Love 8 and Dak Prescott 9. Jordan Love was second to Drake May last year in EPA per dropback. So I'm kind of surprised he's not in your top. What is it, 14?
He was in there, and I cut him at the last minute. So he's definitely
attitude problem.
No, I just feel like it's just tough because I feel like he looks phenomenal at times, and other times he just kind of doesn't look like he's a great quarterback.
You're talking about Jordan Love?
Jordan Love, yeah. So I feel like I've given him a ton of credit, but he hasn't elevated himself in a way some of these other guys have. And I think he's got a lot of stuff around him. He's got a good coach. He's got a run game. He's got a ton of receivers, and he's just not elevated himself.
Does he have a ton of receivers?
I think he's got a ton. Like B level receivers. Exactly. And I think he probably has like a B level coach, B level receivers, and a B level running game. I don't think he's just swimming in weapons. It's not like he's throwing to Justin Jefferson or Joe Burrow's weapons with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah, but I think he's got more than Drake May does.
He does. I mean, but I've got Drake May 6. I mean, look, Drake May had an easy schedule last year, but he wasn't flush with weapons, to your point, and he didn't perform well in the playoffs. I'm interested to see just how that affects him moving forward, to whether or not that playoff performance is still lingering, because he really was that bad in the playoffs. But
as good as he was in the regular season, that's how bad he was.
Yeah, I mean, and that matters. And if it wasn't for that, I mean, he might be in my tier 1. I mean, he led the NFL in completion percentage and yards per attempt and passer rating and QBR. He also had almost 500 rushing yards last year. And what also really struck me when I dug into his numbers, because he's obviously a guy that I know that it's because of the difference in regular season and postseason that I really dug into to try and figure out which is more real. And he was like 3rd in the NFL in tight window throws and still led the NFL in completion percentage. Like, he's taking risks because his guys weren't getting really open. And Next Gen Stats has a stat that's completion percentage over expectation. Obviously, for some guys, it's under expectation just based on how open the receivers are. His was at 9.1% above expectation. Second best in the NFL was 5.1%. Like, he had a really, really good regular season last year.
He was tremendous. I mean, he was MVP caliber. There's no doubt about it. My tier 2, Matt, and these go 3 through 10. Matt Stafford at 3, Lamar Jackson at 4, Jared Goff at 5, Brock Purdy at 6, Joe Burrow at 7, Jalen Hurts at 8. I'm still the high guy on Jalen Hurts. Number 9, Jordan Love, and 10, Drake May. And Drake May, like, for everything you've just said, by the way, played better than being 10th, but I need to see it again, right? Like, the schedule was cake. It was cake. Like, and you were the first guy to point that out, Sam, when we did our predictions for who was going to make the playoffs. You were the guy that had the Patriots making the playoffs. And you said because their schedule is so easy. And it played to that, right? It played exactly to that.
Yeah, I mean, DVOA only goes back to 2018, but easiest schedule and the time that I'm not, DVOA goes beyond 2018. I'm saying what still is up on their website is 2018 and beyond. There's not an easier schedule that's occurred in that time frame.
And so it's not that I think Drake May. Listen, I have him on my dynasty fantasy team. I'm a fan of the numbers and the way he plays and everything. I'm not a Drake May hater by any stretch of the imagination. I just need to see it again, right? Do it again, and he could be in tier 1. If he plays like he did last year, this year, and then goes and wins a couple of playoff games again, or wins one playoff game, I would probably put him in tier 1 because he will have a Super Bowl on his resume, and then we'll have backed up what he did the year before, and he's got more weapons. Right. So now the schedule's going to get harder, but they've given him A.J. Brown. He did lose Stefan Diggs, but Romeo Dobbs, the great Packer receivers that we were hearing about earlier. He's got one of them. So he's better when it comes to weapons. And so if he goes out and backs up, has a year like he did last year, I'll consider him for tier 1. I just think you got to do it again. I mean, Jalen Hurts, like, is he, you guys, neither one of you guys
had
Jeff did.
Jeff did. Place with him.
Sam, tier 2?
No, I mean, Jalen Hurts has become more of a pocket passer now, and he's not effective in that role. He refuses to throw the ball over the middle of the field, which is really allowed defenses to defend the Eagles last year, is because he also takes a lot of sacks, even though he's mobile. When you look at his rushing numbers, last year he had 37 rushing first downs. The years before, he had 76, 68, 67, and 56. He had 37 last year. And some of that is the tush push, but they were still running the tush push last year. Like, he's not as mobile as he once was, and therefore he's not nearly as effective. To be honest, though, Jalen Hurts is not near the most pressing question I have about your ranking.
I think Goff at 5 may have
I don't understand Goff. Like, you honestly would rather look. I'd take Goff over Purdy. But
which I have Goff over Purdy.
I know, but you would really rather have, because Brock Purdy, by the way, had by far the easiest schedule in the NFC last year. So you would really rather have Brock Purdy than Drake May.
Right now, to me, Brock Purdy's done it more often. Like, if we were having a draft, no, I would draft Drake May over Brock Purdy. The pedigree's higher. He's bigger. He's stronger. I think he's going to take a beating more. No, I would draft Drake May.
Well, I'm saying just for this year. for this
Just
year,
for this year?
For this year, you'd rather have Brock Purdy than Drake May, because like this is what we're doing. This is the exercise, right?
Well, the exercise is ranking the quarterbacks, and it is where they are now. Yes. So to your point, we're not doing a career achievement list. So to your point, if I had a team, which one would I play? I would roll the dice with the upside of Drake May, but I don't think upside necessarily equals he's definitively better. You know what I mean? Like like Brock Purdy has played longer at a higher level than Drake May has. So to me, that's where he earns it. If I were drafting a team, where am I? Is the motor running and I've got a Super Bowl caliber team? Then I would lock and load Brock Purdy and maintain what we've got. If I'm building a young team and we're trying to ascend, then I'm going to take a shot at the higher upside. I'm going to swing for the fences with the bigger talent, and I'm going to take Drake May. So I think it depends. Again, we've seen guys have a big year and then go away. See CJ Stroud, off his first year, wouldn't you we'd sit here and be like, CJ Stroud, he's going to be the next thing. He was the next Patrick Mahomes. They put him on TV all the time because he was going to be the next thing. And he regressed. And so that's where I say on Drake May. So the question, the answer is different based upon what kind of team I've got.
Sure. I mean, that's absolutely true that there's no sure things on this list. I think that actually what to me separated tier one for me is because those guys are sure things. Yeah. And you really could say that's really the only group that is. I mean, Justin Herbert's 6th on Jeff's list, 7th on my list. He's not a sure thing. So I don't mind that aspect of it. I guess when I think about the year that Drake May has, I can't imagine in that same situation, even with that schedule, that Jared Goff or Brock Purdy lead the NFL in completion percentage, lead the NFL in yards, lead the league in passer rating. I don't imagine those guys doing that in that situation last year. And I certainly, in week one, would rather have Drake May starting than those two guys.
But I'll come back to what Jeff has said. The postseason was awful for Drake May. I mean, that is part of the equation as well. They won in spite of him, not because of him. And the Super Bowl,
I don't think the postseason was. I don't think the postseason was good at all. I definitely don't want to be on record saying that I thought he played well in the postseason.
I dinged him more for the postseason than you did. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And so you prefer Goff over Burrow right now
because Goff is going to play.
Okay, that's fair.
I had Joe Burrow in tier one. I think I had him in tier one last year. Let me look. Yeah, I had Burrow in tier one, and I think he's absolutely 100% a tier one quarterback. But he also takes way too many sacks, which also helps to get him hurt. And he's also had great weapons. There's
Goff's
no doubt.
got some weapons too.
Who does?
Goff's got some weapons.
Yeah,
too.
Goff's got some real weapons.
He does.
Sure,
He does. But
the
question
the
was
best
about
running back in the league. I mean, he's got 2 great receivers.
I'm explaining why I didn't have Burrow in tier one.
Yeah.
Right? It's
I
availability.
bet you have Goff over Burrow in tier 2, right?
Because of availability.
Yeah.
Because of availability. At some point, Burrow has missed a tremendous amount of games.
I'm with you. Trust
me. In 3 of the 6 years, he's only he hasn't played more than 10 games.
Yeah,
in
that's
half of his seasons.
That's a big part of the equation. All right, why don't you start us off in tier 3, Jeff? Where are you going now?
This is good, not great, and this probably was the toughest category because some guys got pushed down here because of Jaden Daniels and Sam Darnold going to tier 2. I got Trevor Lawrence at 14. I got Jordan Love at 15, Caleb Williams at 16, Baker Mayfield at 17, Aaron Rodgers at 18, and CJ Stroud at 19.
All right. That's a lot of them. Let's start. So Lawrence, Love, tell me the criteria on where you're going with I think Trevor Lawrence is high.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and that's, trust me, he was all these guys putting this tier together, fluctuated around, except for Aaron Rodgers, who I think in Stroud. But it's Lawrence, I'm giving him a ton of credit for how he finished the year. He was playing at an MVP level at the end of last year. And I don't know if you could say anybody was playing better than him in the last 6 or 7 games. And that was a huge turnaround from where he was. And I certainly don't know where I ranked him last year, but he was not a good quarterback in my mind. I didn't want to go higher than 14, but I also felt like if he can play at that level moving forward, then he's going to be tier 2, maybe tier 1 by, the next year or the year after that. And then Jordan Love was somebody who I said before, I think he's amazing when he's on, but then he'll do some really dumb stuff, make some bad decisions. And that team kind of fell apart down the stretch, got beat by Caleb Williams twice. And so I just, it's hard for me. He's almost in that Dak Prescott type category where you think he can be more than what he is, and people keep expecting it to happen. And at some point, it's just maybe he's just a good quarterback with a lot of potential he's not going to reach.
Yeah. So Lawrence, Love, then finish the list off again.
Caleb, Baker. And I got Baker on there just because he's lost a lot of stuff over the last couple of years. A lot of guys been banged up, hurt, receivers, offensive line, running backs. They still keep putting up numbers. They're still in contention for, and I know it's a weak division, but most quarterbacks who lose what he loses would not even be, they'd be 6-11, you know?
Yeah.
And then I have Aaron Rodgers and Stroud. And I give Stroud grace because the offensive line is so bad. I think he could be a better player if he had more protection.
Okay. I don't mind CJ Stroud in this tier. I mind Aaron Rodgers in this tier.
Yeah, I do too. I don't like Aaron Rodgers in this tier. I actually agree exactly what you said on CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was actually one of the more polarizing quarterbacks to rank in the list. And look,
Yes.
there's more than one guy that falls into that category. But it's exactly what you just said, Jeff. I mean, the Texans refuse to protect for him. And his biggest strength as a quarterback is throwing the ball downfield. They never give him time to use his strength. Like his rookie year, he led the NFL in average depth of target because he had time to throw. He made Nico Collins into a star. You know, Nico Collins hadn't had much success, and because he's great downfield. CJ Stroud throws the ball down. Now they've got an offense with an offensive line that doesn't allow him to do it, but he's also played like crap. It made him really hard to grade, I thought, this year.
Yeah. I agree on the CJ Stroud. I mean, I'll let Sam go before me, but I have Stroud in this tier, and I went into this thinking CJ Stroud.
Go ahead, Soren, then.
Okay, I'll lay out what I have. So I only had 10 in the first two tiers. Well, Sam only had 9. But this is where there's a lot of guys, in my opinion. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. I'm sure I'm the high guy on Bo Nix.
Yeah.
At 14. Sam Darnold is here in 15. They won with him. They didn't win because of him in Seattle. CJ Stroud is 16 for what we've talked about. I too have Baker Mayfield here. Caleb Williams showed a lot of progress. There's still a lot of flaws in his game, but he really cut down on the sacks, which was huge. He got good coaching and he really improved. So I've got Caleb Williams here at 18. And then I do have Trevor Lawrence creeping into this at 19. I don't love him, but he played better with Liam Cohen as his coach. So I've got 9 quarterbacks in this one. Herbert, Prescott, Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is an interesting one. Like, did they run a college offense where they exposed him to hits and made him the run pass option that is always difficult for defenses? Every defensive coordinator, first question, is the quarterback a threat to run? The answer was an overwhelming yes for him. But they exposed him to hits, and then they exposed him to hits the next year, and he got hurt. And now, is he going to bounce through OC after OC after OC? Like, if anyone goes the path of CJ Stroud, it's going to be Jaden Daniels. And so I think he's an interesting one. I think he's got a lot of talent. His availability is going to be a question throughout his career. He's Robert Griffin III body type, okay? And his career arc may be just like Robert Griffin III, who was fantastic, looked like he was going to be a star after his first year, and then injuries piled up, and they recognized, okay, it's RPOs, and we can handle this. We know how to defend it. And all of a sudden his career was over. So I do think Jaden Daniels is going to be a lightning rod for years to come if he doesn't bounce back and have a giant season, because that first season's such a tease. And I know Bo Nix had the most attempts in football last year, didn't throw 30 touchdowns, still had more than 10 interceptions. And I know he kind of spots everybody a lead, but if you can play that well at the end of games, then it's there. There's an ability that's there. I know a lot of his, the more advanced metrics don't love him, and I know he's got a good coach who knows how to game plan, but he did take a team all the way to where if they were healthy, if he were playing, would they have been in the Super Bowl? How different would it have looked? Do you think the Patriots win in Denver if Bo Nix plays? I don't. And how different would this list have looked if Bo Nix was in the Super Bowl instead of Drake May. I think it'll look really different, and we didn't get a chance to see that. So right there's my preemptive defense of Bo Nix for Sam McDowell. And then, I think all the things that have been said about the other guys are all valid. Sam, you want to crap on that now?
No, I mean, I don't have Bo Nix that high. I will say I wanted to put Bo Nix even lower on my list, but there's not a lot of guys to push up above him. The thing I always point out about him is he has the absolute best offensive line in the NFL.
He does.
And he has to have the best offensive line in the NFL because he has a 54 passer rating when under pressure, which is 32nd out of 33 qualified quarterbacks. There's always this notion that Bo Nix can get on the move and can scramble. He's terrible outside the pocket. I mean, he's awful. So, and he also doesn't get rid of the ball quickly. And this isn't the reason he's not getting pressure is because he's Aaron Rodgers and he's constantly getting rid of the ball because he knows he can't move. He thinks he can move. He thinks he can throw on the run. And he can't. And so to me, the circumstances around him have to be perfect for him to have success. And he's fortunate that they are really good around him.
That's a good breakdown. All right. What do you got? Starting with 10.
Yeah. So I'm on tier 3. I've got 10 through 14 in this. So I've got a little bit less than half the league. And
grudgingly
in the top half. I totally agree with your assessment of Jaden Daniels, but I have him 10th.
Okay.
I've got Jared Goff 11th. I did not think I'd be such the high point on this guy, but I've got Caleb Williams 12th, Jalen Hurts 13th, and Brock Purdy 14th.
Caleb Williams 12th. Who was 13?
Jalen Hurts is 13, and Brock Purdy is 14. I totally agree with you on Jaden Daniels, and I did figure that 10 might be a little high on that, but he did lead the Commanders to the NFC Championship game because of him, too. Their defense wasn't even good that year. Just 18 months ago as a rookie. Sometimes I feel like when I hear the narrative around Jaden Daniels is did I dream that happened? Because I could have sworn he was lights out for the Commanders just as a rookie. But you're right. I mean, I don't think he's suffered his last serious injury either. And that's what makes him hard to rank even higher than this.
Yeah.
And all those guys in that class are hard to rank because of what you just said. They've all had one good year and they've all had moments where you're they look awful or they're hurt, right?
That's a good point.
Caleb and Bo Nix and Drake May and Daniels, and it's really hard to make sense of what they're going to be. But when they're great, they're phenomenal.
I thought I mentioned Stroud being the toughest guy to rank. I actually had a little thing that I was going to mention at the end. I think the 3 hardest guys to rank were Stroud, then Caleb Williams, and then Jaden Daniels. Caleb Williams is a hard guy. I imagine that, PFF, for example, that releases grades every week, Caleb Williams has to be by far the hardest guy for them to grade. And I know they grade it on a play-by-play basis, and that just becomes the accumulation. But if you were just watch this whole game and then say, okay, what letter grade do I give Caleb Williams? He misses open receivers, and I know I've mentioned this before, he misses open receivers at a really high rate. But he has the ability to do stuff you can't teach. And he was second to Matthew Stafford last year in big-time throws. He made a tremendous step in not taking sacks, but he's got to prove that he can run an offense on schedule at some point. And if he can do that, he'd be terrific because, man, he can do the stuff, like I said, when the play breaks down that you're we didn't call it that way, and he still made something happen.
Yeah, I think those are all valid points. I'd like to point out you do not have – let's see, Jeff had Sam Darnold at 13. But by the way, this is why we used to just do tiers.
Yeah.
But this is why we rank him and do tiers. Because we could sit here and argue Caleb Williams, you've got 12, I've got him 18, but we both have him in tier 3. Yeah. And I think it's having the 2 grading systems together is what allows you to realize, okay, we're not really that far apart. Even though we're 6 quarterbacks apart, we kind of see them the same way. It's just a matter of blondes or brunettes, as far as I'm concerned. What do you fancy there? But the one thing that is kind of jumping out is I've got Darnold in tier 3. Jeff has Darnold in tier 2, and you've yet to have Darnold. So I think that's interesting. In that case, we'll let you make the case for him being down. But that's the one thing that's jumping at me.
What number do you guys have him at?
I have Darnold at 15, and Jeff has him at 13.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just point. We're not terribly far off.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, that's why I lay that out. Because if you come in at 15, we're gonna have him ranked the same spot. You're just gonna have him.
I don't have him 15, but we're not terribly far off there.
Okay. All right, let's take a break here real quick. We want to get to tiers 4, 5, and 6 still to come. We want to, find out who's down at the bottom. We'll do it after you hear from our friends at Italian Delight. Italian Delight was the first restaurant to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They sell whole pies or pizza by the slice, or enjoy their classic strombolis, calzones, and sausage rolls. Sandwich lovers, check out their lineup of hot and cold subs, the combo, the meatball, or the Philly cheesesteak, just to name a few. And don't forget the pasta, their famous lasagna, and classic chicken Alfredo, always hit the spot. If you're hungry for lunch, check out their daily lunch specials, starting at under $10. Italian Delight can even cater your next work function or party. Dine in, carry out, or delivery, it's Italian Delight. Located just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway at 8145 State Ave in KCK. Check out the menu and order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. Kansas City's own Italian Delight. If your property needs asphalt or concrete work, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is ready to help you. From parking lots and drive lanes to sidewalks, curbs, patching, seal coating, crack filling, and repairs. Their experienced crews handle projects of all sizes throughout the entire Kansas City metro. Whether you're fixing problem areas or planning a larger paving project, Gann focuses on quality workmanship and dependable service from start to finish. No matter what shape your pavement is in today, they can help improve it. Request a free estimate and learn more at GannAsphalt.com. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lots. All right, we're ready for tier number 4. Jeff, do you want to lead us off here on tier 4? Where are you looking at now? It says quarterback number 20, by the way, for Jeff.
Jeff. I don't want to cut in line, but since my next one goes to
okay,
a lot of the same guys you guys have discussed, I feel like
let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. That's a good call.
Clear the runway here. My tier 4 goes 15 through 19, and I've got Trevor Lawrence 15. Jeff's right. I mean, the guy was on a heater late in the season, but I'm just kind of stunned we haven't seen that from him until late in last season. I've got Sam Darnold at 16.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield at 17, CJ Stroud at 18, and Bo Nix at 19.
Okay.
We're in the same vicinity.
Yeah. CJ Stroud was 18.
Yeah, and Bo Nix was 19. I had those guys reversed, and the situation, I guess, is what really served as the tiebreaker for me. I think CJ Stroud was more likely to be able to replicate what Bo Nix does in Denver than vice versa because of the pressure stats I mentioned with Bo Nix.
Yeah, and by the way, good call on going first because now we've all released 19 quarterbacks, and we're not that different. Like there's a couple here and there where it's we've got some variance, but it's not that different. I think I'm fine with that. Darnold, I felt like I'll be honest with you. I appreciate you having him in tier 4 because I had Sam Darnold in tier. I had like a group of quarterbacks that I moved up to tier 3 that were down in tier 4, and Darnold was the reason I moved those guys up because I was like, I was like, you're gonna crap on me if I have a Super Bowl winning quarterback in tier 4, and then you go out and do exactly what I was worried about. So I
feel like I ended up with Sam Darnold at 16. I was like, this is perfect. He's a perfectly average quarterback in the NFL in terms of starting quarterback.
You think he's average?
Well, what do you think
he's better than average?
What's his career going to be? He's Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
He is the Brad Johnson in this run of Super Bowls, in my opinion. I don't think the Seahawks are going to win another one with him because they're now paying him more. It's going to be harder to put talent around him. I don't think their defense was like a generational defense. Their defensive line was old and is going to get old fast. They better win right now, or Sam Darnold's not going to sniff another championship ring. Like if you had to say what's his career look like, it looks like Brad Johnson.
I think what Jeff is going to point out, and maybe I should let you go first, Jeff, but he's had success for 2 franchises is what's kind of the difficult part about ranking him this low is, he almost was the number 1 seed the year before in Minnesota. He also doesn't respond well to pressure, by the way. He turned the ball over at a higher percentage when under pressure than any quarterback in the NFL. But man, he throws a great deep ball. And when you look at like the deep passing numbers, like you can sort by, quality of throws. I mean, you can get into just the completion percentage, the amount of times he does it, the yards he has, and like top of the list, like you'll find Sam Darnold, like he throws a really good deep ball and has a great guy to throw to there because Jackson Smith and Jigba runs great routes down the field. So Like I said, I mean, this is about where I wanted to have Sam Darnold on my list.
Yeah. And you've got him at 16. I've got him at 15, and Jeff has him at 13. So as far as where we rank them, we're not that far apart, any of us. It's just the tiers, what we think they're capable of.
Yeah, and I guess lastly, I would say Sam Darnold had a better year than Caleb Williams did last year. I've got Caleb Williams rated ahead because it's like this is the guy I would prefer to have.
Yeah,
I'm banking that he's going to have another step forward this year.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, what's your tier 4?
Tier 4. It's tied with tier 2 as the second highest number of quarterbacks. I've got 8 in here, and this will explain why Aaron Rodgers is where he is in the previous tier for me because these are guys who I classify as reason for hope. So
all right, give me a breakdown kind of with each guy as you go.
Okay. Bo Nix is 20 and reason for hope. As you just mentioned, good things about him, winning games, making enough plays, getting the team to an AFC championship game. Cam Ward actually played pretty well in the last 6-7 games of the season. And
wow.
He's 21.
Okay.
He's 20. Reason for hope. He's the number 1 pick, and he's played well. Reason for hope.
I don't mind that. I don't mind. I mean, look, this is not a ranking of how they played last year. Like
exactly.
I want to let you finish, Jeff, but I want to point out Cam Ward had the worst situation in football last year. His protection was bad. He lost his head coach. He lost his play caller. His top wide receiver didn't have any interest in playing football last year with Calvin Ridley. Like he has to be better, but the environment around him has to be way better than it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Daniel Jones is 22. Bryce Young is 23. Both those guys, obviously, similar category of not playing well earlier in their careers and trying to find a way to rebound. And Jones almost got his team into the playoffs, could have been the most improved player in the league last year if he hadn't gotten hurt. Bryce Young did get his team into the playoffs. Malik Willis is 24. He showed promise as a backup in Green Bay. I don't know what he's going to be in Miami. He may flame out, but he was good enough to get a contract in free agency. Then 25, I have Jackson Dart. 26, Tyler Shook. And 27 is the new guy, Fernando Mendoza.
Okay. I don't mind anything else. Malik Willis is a little high for me.
Yeah, Malik Willis is a little high for me too.
Yeah, I can't help you there with that
one. Again, that's why I have the criteria so you can understand why he's in there. It's hopeful.
Yeah,
being hopeful about it. It's not like he deserves to be in. But my whole point about Aaron Rodgers is that I can't put Aaron Rodgers in the same group as these guys. Like he's earned the right to be above them.
I mean, when we look back on his career, he's earned the right.
Yeah. Well, even now, I would say he could play. If you put Aaron Rodgers under center, he'd play better than these guys right now.
I'd rather have the wild card than Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather have that. I mean, if you're going to classify it as a reason for hope, I'd rather have the reason for hope than having Aaron Rodgers be my quarterback next year.
If Aaron Rodgers was in Bo Nix shoes, you think they are playing the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, I do.
Aaron Rodgers.
Soren's on the fence about Soren's debating that one.
And I mean, I'm not, as I just pointed out, I'm not a Bo Nix fan, but no, I don't think Aaron Rodgers does anything.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what he does with Mike McCarthy because I heard a lot of rumblings that those two had enough of each other, which listen, you go around and you fail and you're like, okay, yeah, this guy wasn't so bad. Like you realize, maybe it'll work, but I do think Aaron Rodgers is it was one thing to check out of plays. Like one of the criticisms I heard was that he would check out of the plays that were the setup plays for the home runs in the second half, to try to get 3 or 4 yards. And that's fine when you can spin it the way he could spin it and move around and evade sacks and everything, but he needs the game plan. And they were just he protects the ball. He doesn't turn it over a ton. I mean, that's good, but the playmaking is gone away, and they've invested in the guys around him. Yeah, I'm not.
Well,
I don't have.
Let me ask you this: if you just put the numbers on the screen, what he did last year in Pittsburgh, and all these guys I just mentioned did last year, would you be like, "Oh, that's the better player over there," based on the numbers?
If they were 23 years old, yes, I would say that there's more to come.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We compare Aaron Rodgers to what he's been. And that's always going to be what hurts him in these kind of evaluations. He's not the same guy he was. Look what he can't do now. But he's still doing more than the guys he's still capable of more than the guys I mentioned. That's my only argument for him. I'm not arguing he should be like where you guys put him. I'm fine with it. He's not one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's certainly not crap either.
I don't. I'm comparing him to the rest of the league. I mean, he led the NFL last year in throw behind the line. He was the quickest quarterback to get rid of the ball. His average depth of target is by far the least in the league. And it's not because of how his defense hits him. He knows he can't move. He has to get rid of the ball right away. I don't know what system accentuates his strengths because I can't figure out even what his strengths really are anymore as a quarterback. He tries to play like Peyton Manning did late in his career. Obviously, he's later in his career than Peyton Manning ever was, but he doesn't have the ability to, or Tom Brady, but he doesn't have the ability to see the field the way that those guys did. He can't see the matchup. I mean, I'm not saying he's defunct at that, but he doesn't have, that's not an elite trait the way it was for those other guys. His elite trait was moving out of the pocket and making stuff happen. And he can't do that anymore.
I'm at tier 4 and you're not going to hear Aaron Rodgers' name here. Jackson Dart at 20, Daniel Jones at 21, Bryce Young at 22, and Kyler Murray at 23. Kyler Murray, I'm going to tell you, is a Hail Mary. I think he's going to play a lot better. I think he's going to win the job. He's going to play a lot better with a coach that knows how to scheme something. He played better with the Cardinals when he had an offensive mind around him. I think we're going to see a bit of a bounce back. I think we're going to see them use his legs effectively. And so I had him in tier 5, but I think there's upside. So this is a little bit of, I'm buying into what I think he's going to get coaching wise, but I've only got those 4 in tier number 4: Dart, Jones, Young, and Murray. And Young needs to get going. I mean, Young needs to take a big step. They've given him another weapon. If Young doesn't take a step, there's a little bit of okay, we started to see it come together for him. They've given him more weapons now. It better be a big step forward. He either is going to be in 3 or 5 next year for me. There's not going to be in 4 when it's all said and done.
And so what's a through line for that group? What's the commonality for those guys?
I don't have the theme. I got into this and I had these themes and I'm okay, all the young guys go here and all these guys go there. But I'm they played at varying ranges. I mean, I think I've been influenced by Sam's aggressiveness and some of the young guys. But the commonality, I think the one, Jackson Dart, I think could be higher, could be lower. Right? I think he showed a lot of promise, but again, I need to see it again. So I think if you wanted to, you could put Jackson Dart up in tier 3. You could get real excited about Jackson Dart, but I need to see more. I tried to use the same criteria, not be okay, well, I need to see it again out of Drake May, but Jackson Dart, I'm going to give him credit for what he did in 1 year. Right. So when I did that and it shook out, that's where it came. That's where it came from. I think, if I had a theme, there isn't a theme. I can't put a theme on it like you have, right? It doesn't go into that box. I think Dart is up there because I think there's upside. Daniel Jones is just, when you have no quarterback, you're if we had Daniel Jones, we'd be all right. And when you have Daniel Jones, you're we got to be able to find somebody better than this. He's the David DeJesus of quarterbacks. Right? If you ain't got anybody, he looks pretty good. Once you got him, you're looking for better immediately. And I think Bryce Young is going to be that guy as well. And Kyler Murray, I think the Vikings looked at him wow, Kyler Murray, I mean, at least we can run with him. We could do some things. I mean, I guess if I had to have a theme, they're all guys that if you ain't got nothing, they look better than what you got. But once you get him, you probably want more, except for Dart, who's a guy that I think could be on the ascension going. He's at a way station at 4 on his way to higher things. That's how I would describe it. That's the best I can do. What do you got in 5, Jeff?
Did you go Sam at 4? Oh, you went early, right?
Yeah, he went first.
Yeah. 5. These are the guys time is running out on, and so that's 20.
That's not Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is not in that group.
Well, when you see who's in this group, I would say Aaron Rodgers is better because Aaron Rodgers at least is still one.
Okay.
These other guys are fighting for jobs. 28 Kyler Murray, 29 Tua, and I actually have
just 2 guys,
Arthur and Michael Penix, in the same category if they win those jobs. But I just think all 4 of those guys are the same boat. Time is running out. They need to show something very quickly to maintain the opportunity of being starters in this league. And so
So you have Murray, Tua, and then who?
Just those two. And then I have J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix as either or if they end up winning those jobs. If we did this when the season started and those guys were winning, what I'm saying is I put those younger guys in the same position as Kyler or Tua if they won those jobs.
You only have two guys in a time is running out category. No space for a third guy.
Well, I think Aaron Rodgers is better than these guys.
I'm
clearly
fine with
the league
that.
is saying he's better than those guys because he had a team saying, well, hold a job for you. The other two guys got booted out.
I'm completely fine with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that logic. I think it's interesting. I'm going to tell you, I didn't even rank Tua. I ranked Penix instead.
Okay.
So I didn't have Tua on my list. But I don't mind where you're putting him. And I don't mind Tua being the guy. I think Tua probably will be the guy. I just ranked Penix because the depth chart I was looking at had Penix listed as 1. So I'm like, okay, I'll go Penix on mine. So I think that's interesting.
Healthy? Yeah. Has he been cleared to play?
No, but is Tua healthy?
Yeah. Well,
he's going to be. Wanya Morris and Jawan Taylor are going to protect him. Yeah. Who, neither one of them are going to play. Who's the third? Yeah. Who's the third string? Quarterback. That's who we should be putting in these rankings. Yeah. Sam, what's your tier 5? It better have the phone book in it because you're only through 19.
Yeah. I go 20 through 26. That's 7 guys. I mean, Jeff has 2 tiers of 8 here.
Yeah.
I've got Daniel Jones 20. I've got Kyler Murray 21. I knew I'd be the high man on Kyler. I think that Kevin O'Connell will unleash some things in him. I don't think he's going to be great. That's why I have him at 21. It's not like I have him at 11. I'm with Jeff on Cam Ward. I've got him at 22. I thought he showed enough to where I'm intrigued. Not enough to where I think he's great, but enough to where I'm intrigued. And like I mentioned earlier, really bad situation. And the situation at least has improved. I got Jackson Dart, 23. I put Fernando Mendoza for 24. My rationale there is I looked at the list and said, who should play this guy in week 1 if they had the first overall pick? And if your answer is yes, you're below Fernando Mendoza on my list. And it's not because I'm sold on Fernando Mendoza. It's because I'd rather take a flyer on that talent than even this year than everyone below him on my list. And that includes, I've got 25 Bryce Young. Bryce Young was not any better last year, despite having added a number 1 weapon. And I just and for a stretch of 6 to 7 weeks, he had a really good running game too. Like Rico Dowdle was good for like 6 to 7 weeks, and we just didn't see it from him. 26, I've got Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, and that's it. I thought you had 2 more in this category.
No, I go 20 through 26. Okay. I've got 7 guys there.
Okay, all right. My tier 5 goes Fernando Mendoza at 24, Cam Ward at 25. So I got him in the same tier, 3 spots lower than you do. Aaron Rodgers at 26, Tyler Shuck at 27, Jacoby Brissett at 28, Malik Willis at 29, Penix at 30, and Deshaun Watson at 31. Like, these are guys that have either been around the block or have some upside. I put the young guys at the top of this group because there's ceiling to be had with Mendoza and Ward. The rest of them are guys that if you have them, you're looking to get better. I mean, I know Shuck may prove to be better, and I probably should put Shuck above Aaron Rodgers and give him some upside. But Penix, Watson, Watson's his own mess. I at one point had him in tier 6, but I think he can play better than that.
Whenever you said you had one guy in tier 6, I really thought it was Deshaun Watson.
You thought it was going to be Deshaun Watson? No. Yeah. But, Malik Willis, Michael Penix, Jacoby Brissett, I've seen enough. Aaron Rodgers, I've seen enough. Like, you're looking to upgrade if you have those positions. So, all right. So we sit here, and now we've got what? 30 through 32 for Jeff, 27 through 32 for Sam, and just 32 for me in our final tier. Okay. What do you got, Jeff?
Yeah. You want me to go? This is the nothing to see here category for me. I got 3. Nothing. These guys ain't going.
The good thing about grouping is we get to hear the little phrase that you have.
Yeah, I love. That's the best part is Jeff's categorization.
Yeah, exactly. These are the guys who aren't going to do anything this year to excite you or to actually. They're not going to be successful. Deshaun Watson is 30. Geno Smith at 31. Jacoby Brissett 32.
Jacoby Brissett worse than Geno Smith?
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Are we going to have the Mike LaFleur, Todd Monken argument again?
Yeah. We'll do that next time out. But okay. Watson, Smith, Brissett. Okay. I mean, listen, I'm not arguing over who the shortest pygmy is here.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. Sam?
I've got 27 through 32, 27 Tyler Shuck, 28 Jacoby Brissett, 29 is Tua, 30 is Malik Willis, 31 is Geno Smith, and 32 is Deshaun Watson. And if I had one guy in one tier, it'd be Deshaun Watson, because I think there's even a big gap between 31 and 32.
So you don't think there's literally any ability? Is it the off the field, or you think he is just absolutely cooked?
I think he's just cooked. And he was cooked before. He just had 2 Achilles surgeries.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay. Geno Smith, here into the list. It's like how I don't understand why he's playing. I mean, he's not good.
Yeah.
Like,
we kill Aaron Glenn as a head coach of the Jets, because anybody been handed 2 worse quarterbacks in the first 2 years of his career as a head coach than Justin Fields and Geno Smith? Like, you got to be thinking, what are you guys doing to me?
That's a good point, but I also feel like the inverse is true too. And when
you giving me the Jets to try to make this happen with? Yeah.
Well, I just mean, like, when we rank our head coaches, I'll also be saying who's improving their players too. Yeah. And it's not just about the quarterback. But it surprised me when I looked up Geno Smith. I guess I shouldn't say surprised me, but to the degree of which he took 55 sacks last year. And the Raiders didn't have a good offensive line or anything, but my God, I mean, 55 sacks for a veteran quarterback like that, who has at least an ability to move a little bit. I mean, that's just inexcusable for him to take that many negative plays.
You have to really, really package it well. Let me tell you how bad it's going to go with Geno Smith and the Jets this year. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal.
Oh, I thought you were about to say 0-17 or something.
Well, I don't know what the record's going to be. I just know it's not going to be good on offense. Like, that's not going to work. Like, there's no chance that it's going to work. Listen, you can always support our great sponsors here on the Red, Gold, and Bold. It always works with Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Your parking lot's your first impression customers get for your business. Protect your property with Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Parking lot repairs, resurfacing, seal coating, striping, concrete work. Their experienced crews handle it all. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com and our friends at Italian Delight. Daily lunch special starting at under $10 or just a few minutes east of Kansas Speedway, 8145 State Ave in KCK. The first restaurant to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. It's Italian Delight. Order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. For Jeff Chadiha, for Sam McDowell, I'm Soren Petro saying thank you very much for